Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you already know. Go right down here, yes, in your settings, look around, find your subscribe button, and go ahead on and subscribe. And while you're in there, hit your notification bell so you know when I upload or when I just want to pop in. And I do pop in from time to time with my tales from the dark side. I do. And also, while you're in there, give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis, that beast, that algorithm that has me by my neck and is dragging me up and down these internet streets. I really would appreciate it. And right about here, that is our join button. That is for channel memberships. And if you choose to become a channel member and a part of our reading club, you will be supporting my channel to grow, to improve, and to continue. And I will be so thankful and so grateful for that support. Also, if you just want to do a one time donation, we got you. The super thanks button is right over there, and any donations to this channel is always greatly appreciated. I have two shout outs tonight. I do one for Miss Deborah Copeland, who is such a great supporter of this channel and someone that I am so thankful for. So thank you, Deborah, for the super thanks. And also, we have a new name, Gultree2703. Gultree, thank you for deciding to support my channel. I appreciate it so very much. And thank you for the super thanks. All right, with all that said, let's get to the read, y'all, because of course I have a lot. So when I was putting the read together today, y'all, I was up and down and all around in these internet streets. I was. But I did not go over to TikTok. And of course, I didn't go over to the dark side because when I go over to the dark side, I do a pop up. So I did not go over to the dark side and I didn't go to TikTok either. It's because Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter, was so hot. I'm telling you, squatties are just posting one post right after another. They are skull dragging William and Charles up and down these internet streets, and we all know why. We all know why. That documentary that came on last night on Channel 4, it set it off. I'm telling you, I thought Jada Pinkett and and Queen Latifah had showed up. And if you know what movie was Jada Pinkett and Queen Latifah in. Y'all know who I'm talking about. That's what I was thinking because whew, the squatties are posting and posting. My timeline is just turning and turning on both Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm telling you, I had such a hard time picking out the things that I was going to bring to y'all. Whew. I'm going to try to get over to TikTok tomorrow and see what kind of sound bites I can pick up. But I just did not have time. It was Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter, because the squatties, I'm telling you, the squatties, and they were coming with all the hits. I'm telling you, they were coming with the body blows for William and Charles. And a little for Camilla. I'm just saying, a little for Camilla, because y'all know she got that little documentary coming up about DV, and which is a joke. And we're gonna touch on that a little bit later on. But yeah, so yes, that's where I was. I was on Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. So let's get started with the read because it like I said, it is so much. And we're gonna start with this. And this basically is an article. And I have noticed that the story about Charles and William is really starting to break. Although they're trying to keep a lid on it, and you can see the ones who are really trying to keep a lid on it. But I don't know how they think that they're going to keep a lid on this because it is the talk of the town. Whew, Twitter and Instagram is on fire with this conversation, with this exposure. And that's what has happened. William and Charles have been exposed for the thieving, for the grifting, for the greediness, all of it, for the fakeness of it all. They have been exposed. And right after that, that shamomentary about the homeless, not laughing at the cause or the purpose of the documentary, because I always stop to clarify that, because homelessness is not something to be made fun of. And it is such a huge, huge problem. But we all know that that was a shanamentary. It was a shanamentary. It was not a documentary at all that William was doing. How in the world are you going to have a documentary to follow you? And when you think about this, and I was thinking about this the other day, he started his whole crusade in 2023 about the homeless. Now, think about this. It took a little while for them to put that documentary together. And in that documentary, Williams' documentary, he was serving up Christmas lunch. So this means that this happened last year. So not long after he announced that he was going to eradicate homelessness, he had this film crew falling behind him because he was serving Christmas lunch. He was. And so think about that was what we are in the 11th month. It just aired. So right after he decided that this was something he was going to do with no accolades, with no kind of work put in, he had a film crew filming him. I mean, this is why people cannot take him serious. He is so unserious. I mean, he has been doing this less than a year or about a year, but this film, this shamamentary that he just made, it had a almost a year turnover. So the minute he announced that he was going to eradicate homelessness, he had a film crew following him. That is why. That is why he was totally and completely shamed off of the world stage with that nonsense that he was trying to peddle, because he did not. And I said this in on my podcast, Flippity Flippity Flop, the one I named the Flippity Flippity Flop one, which I named after his shamamentary, because I said if he had to just work quietly for about 3 years and really, made had some kind of results in his work to bring to the table to show, listen, I've been working on this. I'm serious about this. And he put that in a documentary, then okay, you got a little weight behind you, you got a little gravitas here. But he absolutely decided this is what he was going to do, and he immediately got a film crew behind him and have not put any kind of points on the board when it comes to homelessness. He is so unserious, and that's the reason he got drug about that. And he's been exposed about this. Megan said it all, and she said it so truthfully, that these people only care about how things look, not how it feels or how it really is. And that's all he wants is the money shot. And this is why this Channel 4 documentary has probably got him snatching down curtains all over Kensington Palace, all over Adelaide Cottage, or wherever he lay his head. We don't know. We really don't. But I bet you it does. And that is why it's got him choking out butlers, because he hates to be exposed for the phony baloney that he is. He is a phony baloney. Him and Charles both, they pretend like they care. But do we feel like they care? No. And that is the reason why they continue to get nowhere. When Harry and his mother does things, you feel like they care about it. It's genuine. William and his father, it is just performative. And it's so easy. And they can't figure out why it's so easy for people to figure them out. But it is. It just is. So let's go on. This particular squatty said this: the royals' lies, propaganda, and gaslighting being exposed by C4 dispatches is next level. Can you imagine? I'm saying, I bet you this is like the tip of the iceberg. I think, isn't that a term they said, just the tip of the iceberg, or just a scratch on the surface of the real stuff, the real shady, the real low down stuff that family's doing. Can you imagine? And it says the billions we publicly know of are a drop in the ocean. The secret, undeclared billions are bigger. And there you go. I believe that with everything in me, because that Republican organization got together and ran the numbers and everything that was on the surface that they could see. They said that family actually cost $500 million. But now more has been exposed. I bet you they actually get, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't over $1 billion a year. And the poor people of the UK got to depend on baby banks and food banks and just trying to heat the houses for the winter. And we're not even gonna talk about him being a slumlord. I mean, it is a mess. It is a mess. And I just love this for him. I can't even tell you how much I love it for him. Whew, it is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Because they thought they had it going on. When they was mistreating Megan, they thought that they were so high and mighty that they could not be touched. This little woman had came into this family, and we were going to just destroy her like we destroy everybody that we have decided to destroy. We know how to do this because through history we have been successful every time. And this time, not so much. This little woman that you decided to destroy, I don't know. Karma keeps coming for everybody who came for Megan, everybody who came for Harry and little Archie. Karma keeps waking up every day and coming for their necks. And I just love that for them. All right, let's go on. This squatty says, and this hypocrite had a documentary on this week claiming he was keen to end homelessness. It said, unbelievable, greedy people, slumlords. William should be ashamed of himself, but he's not. He's not ashamed of himself. Only thing William is really regretting right now is being exposed. He could care less about the rest of it. Because if he was never exposed, he would have went on and continued the fakery that and the pretending and the front facing William that we have all saw from time to time to time. I played that soundbite of him talking about how Harry is supposed to have been going in his fridge. That's why he's so happy that Harry is engaged. I knew then when I saw that and I really found out what him and Harry's relationship from Spare, and I said, boy, them lies can just slip out of his lips so easily. That's who William is. He is a liar. He is a fraud. He is a faker. He is. And this squatty said, and this hypocrite had the had a documentary on this week claiming he was keen on ending homelessness. He ain't keen on ending homelessness. He's keen on getting the money shot. That's what that was about. Because you don't start a project and then have a film crew follow you when you just 1 or 2 months in and ain't got no kind of achievements under your belt when it comes to that project. William wanted just the money shot. He wanted the camera to follow him. He don't want to put in the work. He just wants to look like he is putting in the work. He wants to be given credit for work he hadn't done. I'm just saying. We're gonna put this up. And it's from the Times. This person is commenting on this Time article that says King Charles and his eldest son make millions from affordable levies on schools, hospitals, homeowners, and the very charities they represent. A joint investigation Sunday Time and the Seaford Dispatch reveals today. And they said this, it said this should be a massive scandal, but it won't because the UK government and the UK press are complicit in keeping this archaic institution going. Where's the lie? And I have said this so long ago, I can't even tell you. It is so the tentacles that this monarchy has, it goes wide and it goes deep to keep this archaic institution standing, and they are willing to do whatever. That's why some people talk about Kate wouldn't, she wouldn't fake cancer. Really? You believe that Kate wouldn't fake cancer for that institution? And Charles, I mean, Charles wouldn't fake cancer. Really? Really? Charles would not fake cancer. Okay. Charles is willing to do anything for that institution to survive. Kate is willing to do anything to be queen. And in order to be queen, that institution has to survive. So, will she fake cancer? Absolutely. It's not a low these folks will not go. I'm telling you. Y'all saw the picture of that young girl with cancer and Kate's face right out in front. This is who these people is. Let's stop pretending that they are anything different. They are who we see. You know, some people would talk about this, well, that. No, just who you see. These people are exactly what you see. They are just that. All right, let's go on. This one says nothing about Channel 4 documentary on Daily Mail UK front page. Y'all see the front page? Nothing, nothing. It said, would it also be like that had it had been Harry and Meghan who was the ones charging empty prisons, schools, armies, and the NHS rent? Nope. The media are once again protecting Charles and William, shaking my head. Exactly. This right here is the front page of the Daily Fail. They talking about how Kate illness led her to a new interest in religion. No, it hadn't. Because we saw in Tom Sykes' article that her and William, neither one, are very religious. But they actually put that out to try to distract because they didn't have nothing on Harry and Meghan. And look at this, moves to drop Empire from King's honors. Nothing about the most explosive story about that family since when? Since ever. Because none of this has ever been known before. But they got a tight rein on this news media over there. And it's sad. It's really sad for the UK people not to have a news media that is just at least pretend like you fair. And like I said, the BBC is so disappointing. This should have came, this report should have came out of the BBC. I'm telling you, why is the BBC over there? It should be in the business of holding the rich and the powerful, holding them to account. But the BBC doesn't do that. It even went along with that nonsense video, that AI video of Kate sitting on the bench. That was produced or helped to be produced by the BBC. And then they would not turn over the original for Freedom of Information Act when it was Freedom of Information Action when some of the news media filed one for it to get it. They refused to they refused to turn it over. I didn't know you could do that. I mean, if you have a law of freedom of information, wouldn't you have to turn it over? But they refused and got away with it. And we had never saw the original of Kate on the bench. We have not saw the original of that because the BBC refuses to turn it over. And they participated in that nonsense, along with the son participating in the farm market video. I'm telling you, it's a lot that they don't hold those people accountable for. They do not. It's ridiculous. Now, y'all, I had to go back and get this one. This is a article that Jan Moore wrote prior to all of this going down. And it sometimes people write stories and it just don't age well. And I just said I'm gonna bring it to y'all and so we can kiki about it. Because y'all know who Jane Moore is. She is that Cyclops, the one with the eye going one way and the other one going this way and that one going that way. One looking for you, one looking at you, one looking for you. That one, the one who has eternal smoke for Harry and Meghan. I always got the smoke for Harry and Meghan. And this article is no different. She got the smoke for Harry and Meghan. But oh, does she have the praise for Charles and William? And this was like one day, I think it was one day, 1 or 2 days before. It was right after the Shamaminary. William Shamaminary. I can't even say it. I'm trying to be shady and petty. Shamaminary. Yes, right after that. And the name of this article is this. It said Jan Moore, Charles battles for the monarchy. William battles for the underdog, meaning the homeless. And Harry, he battles for himself. And this was on the same day that Harry was sitting there on the big screen in NATO talking about Invictus. I mean, it it could you could I mean, you don't even have to write the jokes for this woman. She is a walking, talking joke. Now Harry is supposed to be battling for himself, and he is on the big screen on in NATO addressing NATO about Invictus, the most unselfish thing that anybody can do. Harry has done it. He has devoted his life to veterans, wounded veterans. And she had the nerve to write this. And it came on the day of him being at NATO, and it came what, 2 days after William and Charles being exposed for the grifters that they are, for them being out for themselves completely, them continually to have their fingers in the pockets and the pocketbooks of the British people. She is so funny. Let's get into this. It says, Halloween is over and Christmas is coming up fast. I got to make this bigger, y'all, because I just cannot see. Ooh, I wear glasses, and the reason I don't wear glasses on this channel is because I use a ring light, and when I use a ring light and I wear my glasses, the ring light reflects in the glasses and it looks weird. So I try to read without my glasses. So that makes me stumble over some words. So y'all be patient with me about that. I said I was going to explain to y'all why sometimes I be stumbling over these words. It's because I cannot see them as well as I want to, and I cannot wear my glasses because of the ring light. Because I know that ring light in my glasses would drive y'all crazy. All right, let's go on. It says, Halloween is over and Christmas is coming up fast. In terms of international and domestic markets, we are now into the most lucrative sale period of the year, time when business savvy celebrities and major stars all want to get their product out front of the public. However, their reward is cold, hard cash or simple, warm goodwill. Now it is time to make hay. Everybody wants a slice of that profitable festival cheer, and these days the royal families are no different. Just like rock stars on tour and authors publishing new titles hoping for a festive bestseller, the royals are out on maneuvers with a vengeance. The king and queen have been on tour in Australia and she spelled it wrong. This is the way they spelled Australia. I kid you not. They spelled it Australia. Oh my goodness. And it says cramming in up to 10 engagements a day and apparently meeting with limited Republican resistance. Really? Everywhere they went, it was resistance. And it started off before they even put their foot on the step, remember? Because the people were saying that they weren't going to show up to that little barbecue or whatever. The politicians was absolutely saying it a hell of time. So they would not think about where they are at. They let them know that they was not going to be there. And so she wants to play that down, play that down. And all of Camilla's behavior, disrespectful behavior. Okay. It says, yes, there was a mad heckler. This is what it said. Yes, that it was a mad heckler in Canterbury, a mad heckler. That's what she and how she described First Nation senator, a mad heckler. This woman is a nasty piece of work. She really is. This is the same woman who climbs up on a plane and flies 5,000 miles to Montecito, California to take pictures of Megan's vegetables that she just may come in that grocery store and purchase. This is who this woman is, who goes in a dress store where Megan supposedly maybe bought a dress and writes a story about it. But yet and still, Megan is a person that nobody cares anything about. Harry and Megan is just, they just so irrelevant. And she flies 5,000 miles to so she can gather enough information about the jewelry store that Megan once bought a piece of jewelry out of to write a story. This is who Jan Moore is. She is a nasty, nasty piece of work. This is just hadn't aged well for her. And I love that for her because it exposes them for the sycophantic idiots that they are. They want so bad to try to paint Harry and Meghan in a bad light. And every time they think they got it down pat, Harry levels up. Woman is crazy. The way she writes, it gets on my nerves. I can't read too much of it. I have to dismiss it. But she was talking about William and how William was working with the homeless and how selfless he was. And Harry, here Harry is just doing a polo, something he liked, and his it's elite and this and that. And like I said, Harry doesn't have Cinnabale. Like Harry doesn't have the Halo Trust. Like Harry doesn't have African Parks. Like Harry doesn't have Travelers. Like Harry doesn't have Invictus. She wants to try to just paint him as somebody who just made a documentary or a series about polo. These people are so unserious. They are. And they wonder why William is like who he is. Because they prop him up for doing nothing. And they tear Harry down because he does everything. I'm just saying. All right. I could not read too much of this. And while I just had to put this, I'm going to put this picture up. While in this article, while she's writing all this nonsense, these are the kind of pictures she is showing. And see, this is from that documentary. This was back in Christmas time. So William just had took up the mantle of the homeless because he just started in 2023. And Christmas hadn't came, so this has to be Christmas of 2023. So look at him. It was all for the money shot. It was all for the money shot. And it showed and it flopped. It flippity flopped. I love that for him. I'm going to put this up. And this squatty is replying to a article that was in the Daily Fail about slumlords and what William and Kate had to say about slumlords. And it says, a sadder side of Blackpool. Prince William vows to take a stand against slum landlords as he and Kate are left deeply affected on visit one of Britain's most deprived streets. And this was back in March of 2019. And here's the picture. And this is, you can see the pictures of these living conditions. Well, this squatty said this. Well, 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 what have we here? As usual, William is do as I say and not as I do. The brazen hypocrisy of this man is astounding because we saw those pictures. We saw the pictures of the houses that William is renting out, and he is officially a slum landlord. Mm, he is something else. That's all I can say. Okay, this squatty says this. I thought the royal family deserved £5 million. I don't think this is a squatty. It couldn't be a squatty saying this nonsense. It says, I thought the royal family deserved £5 million a year because they do so much for charity. Turns out they actually make some of those charities pay them rent. This particular person who could not be a squatty because we would know better because these people don't deserve no $500 million a year. But she said she thought they deserved it because of what they supposedly did for charities. These people don't ever do anything for charity. Megan was the only person who came into that family or was in that family at the time ever done anything to produce anything that made any money to help a charity. All they do for charities is lend their name so the charity can say they are a royal patronage. They don't do anything. They don't raise money for anything. They don't do any projects for anything. All they do is give a smile and a wave here and there. That's it. That's all they do. It's ridiculous. So I don't understand where this person was coming from. I really don't. But we'll go on. This person says, Cause I know that wasn't a squatty, because squatty know better than that. It says, if you think this is bad, think about the level of utter effing madness that they would had to cut out of this to even be allowed to air it. And I said this before. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is scratching the surface. I bet you it is some stuff that this family is into. And it would be shocking for some people, but not me. As I have said before, it is no low they won't go, and it is no low that would shock me. Because I believe it is nothing they would do. Y'all know how I feel about Diana and her undoing. I don't think they too low for that either. I'm just saying my belief. So I am not surprised that this is just the tip of the iceberg, and how much they probably had to delete out of this documentary to get it on the air. And I'm sure it was a lot, like this particular person said. All right, this particular squatty said this. He said, statesman. One of these princes makes his own way without UK tax funding and doesn't fleece charities and NHS and the military. One of these princes is a tax funded and still finds new ways to fleece charities, the NHS, and military, etc. Harry is a statesman. William is a slum lord. And that's just bad. I have really been thinking about this, and I really think this is going to be a slow burn because people are really, really getting tired of this bowing and scraping to other human beings and allowing them to have this fairy tale life for doing nothing. They didn't earn any of this. I mean, why are you justified in taking all this money out of this country because you was born to a certain family? That's crazy to me that the British people have to suffer so this family can take all of the riches out of it. It is crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I just can't get my head around it. I really can't. I can't. I just can't. This particular swati said this. I guess we shouldn't be surprised that the British King Charles and Prince William are slumlords, considering they stuck Harry freaking Prince freaking Harry and his wife in this servants' quarter while Charles, Camilla, William, and Kate lived in and enjoyed multiple tax funded larger estates and castles. It's true. Harry was doing all of the work. He was doing the yeoman work. He was carrying that monarchy on his back. And yet and still they kept him in rags with his pockets empty and holes in his shoes and living in a shack. And was mad because Megan came along to show him that it was a different way. Mm. Why would we be surprised? And we all know what Charles told Harry about Megan, that he couldn't feed her, that he didn't have enough money for her, and did not give her any money, did not give her a stipend for her clothes or anything. And he was dragging in all this money. Mm, I'm telling you. We're going to put this up. It says, unelected, unchecked, unaccountable, they can act with complete impunity with their ridiculous inherited power and privilege. We are better than this. Abolish the monarchy. Where is the lie in that? And it is, they are unelected. The British people are fine with these people with their hands in their pockets And they don't have that much money anyway. I mean, come on. They need a stipend for the winter. A lot of people do. It's a lot of well-off Britons, but it's a lot of Britons who need help, just like people here in America. And that's why this whole thing that's happening over in the UK would not fly in America. That's why we got, when they start taxing our tea, we threw that mess over in the Boston Harbor and declared war on Great Britain because y'all are not going to take our money. We're not doing that. And that is how the whole thing of America's independence happened, is because the King George wanted to keep his fingers in our pockets. King George's descendants has continued the tradition of keeping their hand in the British people's pockets. But we was not going to have that. We had a whole war about that. But they hadn't changed since King George's time. Mm. And totally unelected, totally unchecked, totally unaccountable. We're going to put this up. It says, imagine actually giving these gangsters 40 million pounds pay raise while they are systematically looting us. I'm going to put this up. It says, imagine actually giving these gangsters a 40 million pound pay raise while they are systematically looting us. And that's true. That's exactly what's happening. They are paying, the British people are actually paying these people to bow to them, to show deference to them, to give them money and pay them to, they are paying them to loot more money from them. Tell me where the grift is. Tell me where the scam is actually at. Because I say the scam is actually over there. But yet and still, they always want to project that nonsense on Harry and Meghan. I'm just saying. Let's put this up. It says they take money from the sick, the poor. King Charles and William are just evil. You cannot fight it because they do. They take money from the hospitals, the NHS, from schools. They rent. It is actually schools that have to pay rent to Charles and William. Prisons who have to pay rent to Charles and William. The NHS has to pay money to park their electric vehicles in a parking lot, and Charles get money from renting that space to them. They get money from the poor. William is a slumlord. Those people are just scraping by and can't afford to live or find another place. So they have to suffer in those moldy, with black mold at that, drafty, cold homes. And scared to say anything because they're scared they'll get evicted and they wouldn't be able to have another place anywhere else. That is a definition of a slumlord. When your renters cannot afford to go anywhere else, so they have to suffer in silence because they're scared to say anything because you might evict them. And if you evict them, then you are adding to the homeless population. This is what these people are going through. They can't afford to move and they have to live in places with black mold. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Let's put this up. It says your reminder that 4.3 million children currently live in poverty in the UK. Here's a picture of King Charles and his crown jewels worth 5 billion pounds. 5 billion pounds of stolen jewelry on his head, in his hand. You see that big diamond in his scepter? And they think that poor Brits find pride in that. That's supposed to be poor Brits' uh, heritage. That is crazy to me. That is crazy. It makes no sense whatsoever. All right, let's go on. It says, imagine actually giving these gangsters a 40 million pound pay raise while they are systematically looting us. I'm going to put this up. It says, this performative BS while his tenants are living in moldy squalor and he's creaming money off civil services. It's gut churning. It is. And he flew, this is in Saudi Arabia, one of those Arab countries. He flew way over there to dig a hole to try to put a tree in it. And I remember watching this. That ground was so hard, he could not hardly break it. It is so stupid what they do. I mean, how is that helping anybody? That you fly all the way from your country to someone else's country to plant a tree in some hard ground, that this tree is going to die overnight. It is crazy to me. And people are there to take pictures of him doing it. Monarchy is hilarious. It is crazy when you just look at it with a logical eye. What is going on here? It is crazy when you break it down. I saw this thing with Andy Griffith. I don't know, a lot of old school squatties, well, not old school squatties, but a lot of older people like myself remember Andy Griffith. And Andy Griffith was a comedian prior to him doing the Andy Griffith Show. And he would explain this in a funny way, football. And he had this bit where he was talking about football, how these people would line up on this line and they would take that little ball and they'd throw it just as hard as they could throw it. And he looked at it through a logical eye. And when you look at football through a logical eye, it is pretty funny. And that is what the royal family to me looks like. When you look at the royal family with a logical eye, these people, these mediocre people born into this situation, they consistently fight with each other to try to get more headlines in a paper that really doesn't even matter. They destroy family, family relationships just because of that, because of press. It is the craziest thing. And they offer each other up to keep from avoiding press instead of holding together and being a force together to fight against this entity that's trying to destroy them. They fight against each other. It is the funniest thing. And they the dumbest bunch. They are really, really dumb. They're mediocre. But yet and still these very super, super smart people bow to him. Because I saw when Kate was holding her little, what was it, early childhood type round table, and Kate could not tie three sentences together. She was tripping on two. And all of these people were sitting around this table, all these educated people, all these experienced people in early childhood was absolutely showing her deference and bowing to her. And she could not, she absolutely tripped coming in the room. It is funny. You look at it with a logical eye and it's ridiculous. And that is the reason why America is an independent country right now, because we could not see ourselves continuously giving King George all this money and he kept coming for more and more and more. And it had got to a point where they said, no, we ain't gonna, yeah, you done tax this tea enough. We throwing it in the Boston Harbor and we gonna come for your necks. And that's what America did. And then when we got through and decided to let him go after we put that whooping on him, he absolutely went back to England and we became an independent country. How do y'all like my little tale of how America came to be? But yes, it's just funny to me. I'm just saying. I'm sorry I went on that tangent, but it's funny to me. This particular squatter said this King and Prince William are taking millions from the charities they are patrons of. Pretend to be shocked. Not me. I'm not shocked by any of this. Y'all put in the comments if y'all shocked by any of this. I'm not shocked by any of this. Anything that comes from over there in Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace, I am not shocked by any of it. If William Went came on the television tomorrow and say him and Kate is getting a divorce, I would not be shocked by that because I would say it's a distraction. They had to go the nuclear route to get all of this to be stamped down and for them to focus on something else. So they decided to go ahead on and use the nuclear option of getting a divorce. I wouldn't be shocked by that. It's nothing they can do to shock me. I'm sorry, it just isn't. Okay, this one said, not enough money to go around, but Charles and William charge rent to charities and the NHS. And what they talking about is when Harry went to Charles and said that he wanted to marry Meghan, and Charles said, I see. Well, darling boy, you know it's not enough money to go around. And that's what Charles said. But he was saying that because he did not want Harry to marry Meghan. The Queen was the only person I believe, that was on Harry's side for him to marry Meghan. Because she gave him her approval. And they said that if Harry married Meghan, she wasn't gonna get no money. Meghan was an outsider and an inside of the family, meaning that she was getting absolutely nothing for being there. So they always about be talking about Meghan is some kind of gold digger. Digging gold for what? When you bring your own gold with you, are you really a gold digger? That is the craziest thing because Megan was getting absolutely nothing but a hard time from these people. And when Charles said, I see, well, darling boy, we do not have enough money to go around, he meant exactly that. He did not give Harry an extra dime for Megan. Megan didn't even have health insurance. And they had the nerve to treat her like that. I'm just saying. All I can say is I'm so glad Harry and Meghan is no longer a part of that nonsense. And this is what he also said. He explained or tried to, I can't pay for anyone else. I'm already having to pay for your brother and Catherine. Isn't that something? And he up there charging everybody, got his fingers in everybody's pockets over there in the UK, just dragging in the money. Him and the Queen at the time, but yet and still they couldn't buy a dress or a pair of shoes for Meghan. These people. But you know what? Like I said, Lady Karma is showing up and showing out right in the middle of Kensington and Buckingham Palace, and I love it for them. We're going to switch gears a little bit. Spanish royal family just got jumped and drugged literally Y'all know that they had all those floods over there in Spain. And those people are mad because they're not getting help. And here this royal family is, living it up, and just pretty much, like the royal family over there, nothing affects them. But here the people are in the mud over here, and they are just sick of it. They have no lights. They don't have nothing. They had all that horrible, horrible flooding, and so the king and the queen came down to see the damage and give a wave and a smile here and there. And those people absolutely just about wanted to drag them literally up and down them streets. And this squatty right here put this up. She said Spain's King Felipe and Queen Leticia ventured out to the masses to speak directly with their people affected by the deadly floods in Valencia area, despite understandably angry residents booing, throwing mud and eggs at them. About 200 people have been killed by the floods. These people are mad. And look at Queen Leticia. She is upset. They came for them. She was terrified. And look at the king's face. Don't look so royal now. I'm telling you. People are tired of suffering and they living a lavish life. I don't understand it. And this particular, and they were throwing and hitting the vehicles and everything. It says this: Spain locals aren't happy that one of the only cleared road was closed for the royal visit. Just to come out there and wave and give a smile here and there. People are tired of that. The roads were pelted with mud, and the PM evacuated. The prime minister had to be evacuated. Absolute rage from people who are feeling abandoned and furious that the prime minister thought a royal walkabout would fix it. And see, this is the mindset of these royalists. They really think that, a smile here and there and a wave here and there, that people are not about that right now. And these people are suffering. Look at them. They are literally standing in mud from this flooding. And they thought they were going to do a walkabout. And I'm telling you, they put it on the king. It was worse than Charles. Them eggs were flying over Charles' head. They were throwing mud and eggs at King Philippe and Queen Letitia. You saw how upset she was. And this one right here, see, they had to have an umbrella trying to shield him, trying to get him out of there. Them people was mad. They are done with this thing. These monarchies are in trouble. This is a new generation, a new time, and people see the grip and they are tired of it. It says monarchies around the world are crumbling. Love to see it. It said crowd heckles and throws mud at the Spanish King Felipe the Sixth as he visits. I can't name the town. Papapoda, I think it's Papapoda, town devastated by floods in Valencia region. They absolutely almost tore them apart. They did. They had to bum rush them out of there. Those people are mad and they're tired that they come out there giving a little smile and a wave and going back to the palace. And they don't even get a quarter of the money that Charles and William gets. And the people in Spain are tired of them. I don't know. Like I said, if the British people don't do something about this time, I don't know what to say. Y'all are suckers and y'all cannot say anything when people call you that. I'm just saying. And also I wanted y'all not to forget, I wanted to put this up as a reminder that the horse Cammy has her documentary is going to be aired soon. And I just cannot wait to drag her. Just saying. And this squatty said, is this supposed to be a bad joke? This woman stayed silent during the bullying and the abuse of Prince Harry's wife. The royal homewrecker who watched Princess Diana suffer from fingers mental abuse of a young woman. And she was absolutely involved in every bit of it. She plotted and planned every bit of it. And we all know about Kanga Tryon. Yes, they said she tormented this woman and contribute to her unaliving herself. Now, did she completely contribute to? Was she the cause? I don't think anybody can be the complete cause of anybody unaliving themselves because they have to take on some personal responsibility. But she definitely played a part. She absolutely did. And now I think this is her way of trolling people to even pick this particular charity or this particular cause because it is almost like she's trolling us. I'm just saying. But don't forget that. We're going to stick a pin in that because we are never going to miss the opportunity to drag Camilla. This particular squatter said Charles received a briefcase of money. William and Charles steal money from the English taxpayer, do not pay their taxes, rent unsanitary houses to people. The British reaction? Whatever. Harry and Meghan left the royal family, don't want taxpayer money. The British reaction? Harry and Meghan are grifters. Me? And he shows a picture like, stop it. And that's true. Charles and William do not do anything but, and now that we know, and this is not an allegedly, and I don't have to do this because it has been proven that all they do is take money from the British people every way that they can. Every opportunity that presents itself, they take the money. They don't care who they taking the money from. It can be a cancer charity, it can be a school, or it can be a hospital. It can be whatever, including the military. They take the money. But yet it's still Harry leaving and Harry and Meghan leaving, making their own money, and they somehow makes Harry and Meghan grifters. And they do nothing but work. It goes back to that article that we were talking about with Jane Moore, talking about William is trying to, work with the homeless, and Charles is trying to save the monarchy. But what is Harry doing? Working for himself. And Harry sitting on the big screen at NATO. These people are so unserious. And I'm going to put this up. It says the outrage on here about the royals over the Channel 4 expose is funny because Brits aren't going to do SHIT about it. By Monday, they'll be blaming the tenants and Meghan. Where is the lie? Where is the lie? I'm just saying. I hope they do. I hope they do. But we'll see. And this particular squatty is just laughing. It says, when you're exposed as a slumlord, release the Meghan Markle stories. Release the Meghan Markle stories. And I must say, I am surprised that none really came out today. They must have been sitting on empty when it comes to gaslighting everybody. They didn't have anything in their pocketbooks, but I'm sure they will come up with something. And we'll be here to drag them forward and not to let them forget that they are the grifters, they are the scammers, they are the thieves, they are the liars, they are the fakers. And we don't even have to say allegedly, it's all been proven. All right, let me put up the clown. Send in the clown. Send in the clown because Charles is a straight up clown. Him and his son. And speaking of his son, send in another clown. They are clowns from way back. And now with the Channel 4 documentary about their money, their finances, and what they're doing to steal from the British public, they are proving to be bigger clowns than we anticipated. That's all I'm saying. But I know one thing, they better leave Harry and Meghan alone because we will chew their face off. We squatties, we don't play about Harry and Meghan. All right, y'all. See y'all next time. Bye.